What's up with all the ambiguity in movies anyway? Real men don't mess around with the unknown, they demand answers. Facts. Resolution supported by hard evidence. Facts. What's so good about leaving things up to the imagination? Do we really need that? No. We need facts. In the cases of pretty much every film ever made, motion pictures have got a thing about not explaining every little detail and occasionally opt to leave things unexplained on purpose, so you can spend the rest of your life pondering the answers. Infuriating. I want facts. As such, I'm Ben from What Culture, and here are 10 unanswered questions from famous movies that are still killing us. Number 10. Was the Joker's scar story true? The Dark Knight. The Joker is one of the most purposefully cryptic characters in all of fiction. We're not supposed to know why or how the Joker became the delinquent that we've all become oddly obsessed with these past few years, because that's the point. Still, are you honestly telling me you're not the slightest bit intrigued as to what exactly happened to this man in order for him to transform into such a crazed, deranged maniac? The Joker tells a little story in The Dark Knight, of course, in which he describes a scenario where his father came home once, attacked his mother, and then brandished a knife at him, all while repeating the line,
"Why so serious?"
I mean, I know there are some explanations in the comics, but film-wise, did it really happen? Number 9. What did Bob whisper to Charlotte? Lost in Translation. Lost in Translation is a film about Bill Murray's washed-up film star Bob Harris, who spends a week in Japan with Scarlett Johansson's Charlotte. Charlotte, a recent university graduate who's probably married the wrong man, ends up bonding with Bob while the two of them do very Japanese things together, like karaoke, digesting weird foods, and going Super Saiyan, I assume. At the end, it's time for Bob to go back to the States, and what seems like it's going to be a downer ending suddenly flips though, as Bob, en route to the airport, spots Charlotte walking on the street, jumps out of his car, and whispers something in her ear. She smiles, they kiss, it's wonderful. But what did Bob say to Charlotte? It's so annoying! Number 8. Whose side was George McHale really on? Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. In his fourth outing, Indiana Jones finds himself trying to stop the Russians from doing very Russian-y things in the 50s, when arguably they were peak Russian, and finds himself teaming up with pretty much the most intolerable group of oddballs and fuckwits you've ever seen in an adventure film. Yes, long gone is the awesome gang from Last Crusade, and instead, here we're treated to a deranged professor, a soccer mum, Shia LaBeouf, and a character played by Ray Winston called George McHale, who may or may not be a good friend of Indy's depending on what minute of the day it is. He constantly switches his allegiance during the film, and by the end though, we're still none the wiser as to what that was all about. Big fat sigh. Number 7. Did Mookie do the right thing? Do the right thing. The point of Spike Lee's greatest ever film, Do the Right Thing, is to make your own mind up about whether or not the central character, pizza delivery guy Mookie, does the right thing in the last moments. If you haven't seen it, this point comes when Mookie throws a bin through the window of his boss's restaurant and starts a riot. Throughout the film, we're shown that he and his boss, Italian restaurant owner Sal, share a mutual respect, but tensions rise when Sal is accused of being racist. Did Mookie purposefully save Sal's life by starting the riot, essentially distracting the crowd from attacking him, or was he just siding with the rioters full stop? We'll never know. Number 6. What's in the box? Barton Fink. Barton Fink is probably the strangest film in the entire Coen brothers canon, and that's saying something. Following a playwright who moves to Los Angeles to become a screenwriter, it's about as ambiguously packed as they come. That's to say, Baron Fink has been perfectly crafted as an exercise in make your own mind up, but that doesn't stop us from wanting to know the answers to some of its more intriguing matters. Namely, the box. During Barton's stay in Hollywood, he shacks up in a weird old hotel and befriends a cheery salesman named Charlie. At one point, Charlie leaves the hotel and bestows a mysterious box on Barton. And later, it's revealed that Charlie is actually a notorious serial killer. Typical. Though what's in the box is ultimately never revealed. Is it a head? It's probably a head. Number 5. What happened to Bo Peep? Toy Story. Toy Story 3 was the final entry in the flawless franchise, a film so good that it genuinely has the ability to make grown men cry over and over and over. So basically, the toys of Andy's room are no longer getting the playtime they deserve, given that Andy is now a teenager. But in a brief line of dialogue, we're treated to the news that some of the characters from the original movies, including Bo Peep, are no longer with them, which was basically Pixar's way of saying, yeah, there are too many characters in this movie for it to work, so some of them have to die. It's understandable then, but it's frustrating as hell, given that Bo was Woody's beau. For the two, yeah, you like that? For the 2 whole movies. So what happened? I bet Buzz killed her. Just jealous she was getting all of Woody's attention. Shame. Number 4. Whose baby was it? The Departed. In Martin Scorsese's The Departed, Leonardo DiCaprio's police officer goes undercover as a mole while Matt Damon's gangster joins the police force as an informant. At some point, both characters fall for the same lady, Madeline, and eventually it's revealed that she's fallen pregnant, though we're never specifically told which of her 2 lovers the baby actually belongs to. Although it's hinted at in the movie that one of the men has trouble in bed,
it's alright. Guys tend to make too big a deal out of it.
you wouldn't put it past Scorsese to have made it this obscure to drive us a little bit crazy. Who knows? Number 3. What's the punchline to Bender's joke? The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is considered to be one of the best John Hughes films around, a hilarious but touching comedy drama about a bunch of misfits who briefly put aside their differences to come together and bond for the sum of a single detention. One of the characters, John Bender, is in detention for pulling the fire alarm and evacuating the entire school unnecessarily, and at one point in the film, he begins to tell a filthy-sounding joke. What we hear of the joke goes as such. A naked blonde walks into a bar with a poodle under one arm and a 2-foot salami under the other. She lays the poodle on the table. The bartender says, "I suppose you won't be needing a drink," the naked lady says. And that's all we get, as the punchline is interrupted as he falls from the vent he's climbing through. Oh. Number 2. Where did the chicken come from? The Hangover. You know what happens in The Hangover, so I'm not going to recap it, but when the gang wake up in their hotel room, all of the crazy things found there, including a tiger, are explained by the time the film ends. One thing that isn't, though, is the chicken. On first viewing, as with all the other stuff they wake up to find, audiences probably thought they were going to be treated to an explanation as to why there was a chicken wandering about. No such explanation is ever given. There are various rumors circulating around the web as to what the chicken was doing in the film, but no official reason from a story perspective has ever been stated. I suppose you could call it a red herring that's actually a chicken for whackers. Hashtag red herring that's actually a chicken for whackers. Number 1. Did Max throw himself into the bin lorry? Once Upon a Time in America. Once Upon a Time in America is a less popular but excellent crime movie that ranks right up there with The Godfather. Butchered and edited into versions that didn't do it justice for a long time, it's now possible to actually watch the film as its director originally intended, which is nice. The film tells the story of Noodles, a gangster played by Robert De Niro, as we follow the span of his entire life, from plucky teenager to regret-filled adult. In the final moment, Noodles confronts his old friend Max, who feels guilty about the way he treated Noodles when they were younger men. Just when we think Noodles is going to kill Max, he doesn't, and the 2 characters part ways. Noodles goes outside, and then there's a weird scene with a bin lorry where it's implied that Max throws himself into the back of it, committing suicide. There's no proof of this, of course, and nobody is exactly sure what this moment is about. Even James Woods, who played Max, said he didn't know what happened and that a different actor was used to portray him to make it unclear. Thanks, film! And that's our list. Are there any unanswered questions we left off? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even follow me here on Twitter if you fancy. I'm Ben from What Culture, and thanks for watching.